Welcome back. All right, so 5 games to review tonight, and less than 12 hours from now, I'll be up watching Florida-Dallas, so hopefully that's another entertaining game from Finland, a city in Finland. And also, I want to thank Michael Bublé for the shout out that he gave today on the Rich Eisen show. I think that was fantastic, so greatly appreciated. And if you're here because of that video, welcome. I do not film videos in my bedroom. I don't. This is a set. This is actually a room dedicated just for the set. There is a cat tree though, because there's usually a cat right there named Shadow, who is not in his perch right now. So I apologize. And if you hear a cat meowing in the background, it's always Bear, who's usually at my feet, and that's usually during live streams. Now, that being said, that out of the way, we'll go ahead and start things off with the Islanders in Buffalo. And if you hear popping noises and stuff in the background, it's fireworks and firecrackers because it's that time of year. So Sorokin versus Levi in this one. Zucker with a near miss as the Sabres press. The Islanders press at 4.5 minutes. Levi holds. We get a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off. Sabres go back to the power play. They score on this one. And it's Cousins with his first of the season. It only takes 7 seconds. He buries it from the side of the net. Dahlin and Zucker with the assists at 9:03. But the Islanders get that back almost immediately at 9:43. Horvat on a breakaway scores from Anders Lee. That's Lee's first assist of the season. Sabres then press with 9 minutes left. Shots are 10-7 for Buffalo with 6 minutes left. There's an Islanders 2-on-1 that fizzles out with 3:34 left. The Islanders go to the power play. That's killed off. The Islanders press after it ends, but it's 1-1 after the first. Second period. There's a full Islanders power play to start. Lee is denied on a rebound. Then we get some 4-on-4. We get 24 seconds of a 5-on-3 for the Sabres. The Islanders are not happy, but they do kill that off. And Siplikov, who was one of the ones who got penalized, he scores at 5:25 on an impressive net drive. That was a very nice play by Siplikov. That's a way to get your second goal of the season. The shots are 4-3 for the Islanders at 7 minutes. Cousins has a shot that's held as the Sabres press. Pelech takes a puck to the helmet. He exits. I hope he's okay. One thing for the Islanders, they do get points tonight, but yeah, the injury bug tonight really got them. So the next note on the board is Riley gets absolutely rattled on a hit. He landed on his head on the ice. Initially, they called a 5-minute penalty on Greenway. They did that to review the hit. There ends up being no penalty on it. It was a clean hit. Just an ugly landing for Riley. They brought out the stretcher. They didn't need the stretcher. Riley got up, and he was helped off the ice, but I didn't see him really skating off, more as being pulled off. So I do hope that both Pelech and Riley don't miss very much time. But this is a pretty costly game for the New York Islanders blue line and leaves them with 4 defensemen the rest of the way. So the Islanders draw a power play. Horvat's denied. Levi holds. And then Palmieri goes short side under the bar. Siplikov and Holmstrom with the assists at 12:20. The Islanders have a 3-1 lead, despite only having 4 defensemen. Sabres press with 5 minutes left. We then had a fight between Wallstrom and Zucker. But it is 3-1 for the Islanders after 2. Third period. Islanders have the early jump. Again, 4 defensemen. So what you're watching for is whether or not they're going to get worn down as the game goes along. Shots are 2-1 Sabres, 4 minutes in. Zucker gets a penalty shot. He's denied there. But not long after, at 5:27, he deflects a puck in. Thompson and Byram with the assists. That's a Gordie Howe hat trick for Zucker. Good for him. Sabres press to tie it, but at 8:08, Horvat tips one into an open net. And Pajot and Lee have the assists. So the Islanders get back their 2-goal lead at 4-2. We get a power play for the Islanders. That's killed off. We then get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Goalie pull happens with 3:50 left. And at 18:59, Power scores one to make it a 1-goal game again. He buries a rebound in close. McLeod and Byram with the assists. That's as close as Buffalo gets. Your final score is 4-3. The Islanders go to 4-5-2. The Sabres drop to 4-6-1 on the season. Shots on net, 12-10 Buffalo in the first, 15-10 Islanders in the second, 13-11 Buffalo in the third. Final shots, 36-35 Islanders. Power plays, both teams go 1 for 4. The hits, 18 apiece. Sorokin saves 32 out of 35. Strong game for him. Levi, 32 saves on 36 shots. So that's the difference between winning and losing right there. All right, next up. The Ottawa Senators and the New York Rangers. So here's my problem with the Sens. The Sens have now had 3 really good games against really good teams. They did that with Vegas. They're now doing that with the Ottawa Senators. I'm trying to think now. My mind's gapping on the other one they had a really good game against. I know it was out west. I'll think of it later. It's fine. But it's Ullmark versus Shesterkin. My point being, Colorado. So they have these good games, but they don't come out of them with points. So I'm left looking at the power rankings board and saying, well, they're playing well. They're not getting the results. So I can't really penalize them for losing against teams that are pretty darn good, especially when they play well. There's a good early back and forth, but on what was the first shot on net for the Rangers, they score. Panarin scores from Lafreniere at 3:03, and he gets that one from the top of the circle. It was also a screenshot to give the Rangers the lead. Gregor then has a rush chance that saved. The Sens press at 6.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. The shots are 6-5 Ottawa with 9 minutes left. We get a power play for the Sens. That's killed off. No shots on net. Things are pushy on a hold by Shesterkin. The Sens press with 3 minutes left. The Rangers are doing a good job of blocking out the middle of the ice at this point. Miller then has a shot that's held as the Rangers press. They're up 1-0 after one. Second period. Sens press at 2 minutes. The shots are 4-1 Ottawa, 3.5 minutes in. The Senators then get more pressure at 6 minutes. They dominated the last 40 minutes of this game. There's a power play for New York that becomes 1 minute and 4 seconds of 4-on-4. The teams exchange rushes during said 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off. The Sens press after. Sens go back to the power play. Greg has a chance that's held. That power play is killed off. Good forechecking by Ottawa. Lafreniere then has a net feed that gets picked off. Giroux gets robbed. Igor holds on there. With 2:48 left, the Sens go back to the power play, and that's killed off. And after the second period, if the Rangers are leading, they come into tonight 5-0. If they're leading after two, make it 6-0. There's an early press by the Sens, but then we get a power play for New York, and at 2:56 on a good pass, Lafreniere tips one in. Hedl with that pass to him, and Riley Smith with the other helper. That is your 2-0 goal for the New York Rangers. Shabbat to Amadio gets blocked. There's a Giroux net drive that gets defended. McEwen nearly scores. The rebound gets cleared. Igor poke checks Stützle on a net drive. So Shesterkin's earning his money tonight and earning his money for next year tonight. Shots are 9-4 Sens at 9 minutes. We get a power play for Ottawa. That's killed off. Igor's putting on quite the show until Gaudette with his 5th goal in 4 or 5 games? Like, it's insane. Anyways, Gaudette scores from Tkachuk and Shabbat at 12:28. It was a nice cross-ice pass, and he roofs it. Took 34 shots for them to get one past Shesterkin. Norris then has a rush chance that's held during the 6-on-5 as they had the goalie pulled. Batherson nearly ties it, but they're not able to generate that shot that's going to fool Igor. And the Rangers win 2-1. They go to 7-2-1 on the season. The Senators drop to 5-5. But 3 of those 5 losses have been to pretty good teams who play pretty well. Shots on net, 9-8 for the Rangers in the first, 13-4 Sens in the second, 20-5 Ottawa in the third. Final shots are 41-18 for Ottawa. The power plays 0-for-5 for Ottawa, 1-for-2 for the Rangers. The hits, both teams had 28. Ullmark saves 16 out of 18. Shesterkin saves 40 out of 41. So it was the Igor show tonight, and we were just lucky to witness it. Unless you're a Sens fan, you may feel less lucky to have witnessed it. Next up, Winnipeg and Columbus. Man, after that loss against Toronto, Winnipeg's taking it out on the rest of the league, huh? It's Comrie versus Merzlikins. Niederreiter couldn't bury one in close early on. That puck gets held. Shots are 3-2 for the Jets at 3 minutes. The Jets get some pressure. They're kept to the outside, but they would get one. Ehlers scores on a rush from a distance. That was the 7th shot on net for Winnipeg. The assist to Colin Miller at 5:13. Columbus looks to respond. Shots are 8-4 for Winnipeg at the half. So yeah, they weren't messing around. But Columbus ties it. Corrali from Van Riemsdyk at 11:02. It was a turnover, and he wires that one from the inner slot. Jets press to respond, but again on a turnover, Winnipeg takes advantage. At 15:13, Ehlers goes from the right circle and buries one to get his 2nd goal of the first period. And then the Jets press for another. So it's 2-1 Winnipeg after the first. They played quite well, and they carry that over into the second period. There's a kick save on a Sillinger chance early, and then Appleton scores from Pionk and Lowry at 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Columbus looks to respond to that, not wanting to fall further behind Winnipeg, of course. DeMello has a shot that's saved as the Jets get some pressure. Nemesnikov's denied on a rush. The shots are 8-2 for Winnipeg at 6 minutes. Jets get a power play. That's killed off. 2 shots on net. Werenski then has a rush chance that saved with 3:38 left. Columbus gets a power play, and it takes 7 seconds for it to hit the net. Werenski scores from Marchenko and Chinikov at 16:29. Things then get pushy on a hold by Comrie, and then at 18:50, Ehlers puts one into what was an empty net for the hat trick, and that makes it, I believe, 4-2? Yeah, 4-2 in favor of the Winnipeg Jets. 41.7 seconds left. Columbus gets a power play, so that rolls over into the third period. They need a goal. Columbus sets up early, but the Jets have cleared out. They do kill that off. No goal for Columbus on that. Pressed by the Jets at 2 minutes. Columbus protecting the net pretty well, but the shots are still 4-1 Winnipeg at 6.5 minutes. We then get a power play for the Jets, and they score on it. Their power play is running about 50% this season. It's not sustainable, but it's fun to watch. Morrissey scores on this one from Scheifele and Ehlers at 11:39. And then another insurance goal happens when Velarde scores from Connor and Morrissey at 14:54. Columbus would get some pressure with 4 minutes left, and they tried, but in the end, your final score is 6-2 for Winnipeg, who are now 10-1. We'll all act surprised when they're number one on the power rankings tomorrow. For Columbus, they dropped to 5-4-1. Winnipeg's just too good right now. Shots on net favored Winnipeg the whole way, no surprise. 12-8 in the first, 19-8 in the second, and 13-6 in the third. Final shots 44-22 for the Jets. They lost, it just made them angry. Both teams go 1 for 2 on the power play. The hits 20-17 for Columbus. Comrie saves 20 out of 22. Merzlikins 38 saves on 44 shots. That being said, I do need to change boards. All right, so let's talk about Tampa Bay and Minnesota. How about that Minnesota Wild? So it's Vasilevsky versus Gustafsson in this one. The Bolts had the early jump. In fact, they were leading in the shots 4-1, 2.5 minutes in. We then had a fight between Eyssimont and Lauko. The Wild are having turnover issues. Kaprizov to Hartman gets picked off. The Bolts draw a power play. That was killed off. Kucherov has a wrist shot that's saved. The fans call one. The referee does not. I didn't hear a ref you suck chant tonight. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just didn't hear one. Shots are 12-3 for Tampa with 5.5 minutes left. Hartman's denied on a rush. Vasilevsky holds. Middleton has a shot that's held. There's some pushing there. With 1:39 left, Tampa gets power play, and they score on it. It is Point bearing a rebound and close. Hedman and Hagel with the assists at 19:15. It's 1-0 Tampa after the first. However, at 46 seconds of the second period, Eriksson Ek on a great pass, he wires one on a rush. Kaprizov and Zuccarello with the assists. Minnesota ties this at 1. Wild then look for the lead. The Bolts, they press at 4 minutes. Something that may have helped the Bolts is not worrying about only having 5 guys on the ice. They get called for too many men on the ice with 7. They had 7 on the ice. Replay showed there were 7. So the Wild with a power play. Referees should just look over and go, are you kidding when that happens? There's a near miss for Kaprizov and close. I did get a kick out of Cooper and the other assistant coach there looking over the footage on the screen to figure out who screwed up. So anyways, there's a near miss for Kaprizov and close. That power play's killed off. Rossi then finds an extra puck, so he decides to put that into the net. So that puts the referees on the headset. I'm guessing Toronto fired him. But yeah, so you can't score with an extra puck. Too many pucks on the ice, so that's not a goal. We then get a power play for the Wild. That's killed off. Foligno misses one high and close. The shots are 4-1 for the Wild with 7 minutes left. We then get a power play for Tampa. Point has a slot shot that's held. That power play's killed off. Teams exchange turnovers. The Bolts press in the final minute. It's 1-1 though after the second period. Third period's where the scoring takes place. The Wild press at 2 minutes, and Faber with a point shot that goes past a screen scores at 2:39 from Middleton and Lauko. The point then has a net feed that's blocked. The Bolts end up drawing a power play, and they score on it. Gensel goes 5-hole from the left circle. Hedman and Kucherov with the assists at 6:23. Bolts press at 8 minutes. The Wild then press at the half. They're kept to the outside. The shots are 4-1 Tampa with 8.5 minutes left. And at 14:36, Kaprizov tips in a rebound to put Minnesota ahead. Again, Rossi and Zuccarello with the assists. So Tampa pulls the goalie early. And at 16:56, empty netter for Boldy. That is followed by a 6-on-5 goal by Tampa. Paul scores from McDonough and Chernak at 17:33. So you pull the goalie again, you gotta. Kaprizov hits the empty net from Freddie Gaudreau at 19:31. Minnesota wins 5-3. They go to 7-1-2. Tampa Bay drops to 7-4 on the season. Shots on net 15-6 Tampa in the first, 7 apiece in the second, 9-8 Minnesota in the third. Final shots 30-22 for Tampa. Power plays, the Bolts 2 for 4, Minnesota 0 for 2. The hits 22-11 for Minnesota. Vasilevsky saves 17 out of 20. Gustafsson had a good night. 27 saves on 30 shots. All right, and the last game of the night, Calgary at home against New Jersey. The Devils used up all their goals in Vancouver. It's the only thing that makes sense here. So it's Markstrom versus Vladar. They had a nice ceremony before the game for Backlund's 1,000th game, which was the one before this one. Early jump for Calgary. In fact, the shots are 5-0, 4.5 minutes in. So Markstrom's busy. 8 minutes in, Devils still don't have a shot on net. So Markstrom's the only reason this one's 0-0. Flames press at 9 minutes. Anderson has a wrister. That's caught and held. The Devils press with 8 minutes left. Jersey draws a power play. That's killed off. We had a fight between Bastian and Lomberg. I will admit I laughed. And it's terrible I laughed. So Bastian gets an instigator for a fight where Lomberg just beat the hell out of him. Like, it just, like he owed him money. Like, it was just, man. Usually you only see that in, like, Sopranos or Goodfellas. Anyways, hopefully Bastian's okay. Devils killed that off. No shots on net. So the instigator means that the New Jersey Devils were killing a penalty. So it's 0-0 after the first. Second period, there's a power play for the Flames. That leads to 2 shorthanded 2-on-1s for the Devils, which they like to do. But that was killed off without a shot on net by Calgary either. Shots are only 1-1 at 5-minute mark, so very defensive game. The Flames press are kept to the outside. Teams trade rush chances. Mercer has a tip shot. That's held. Halfway through the period, the shots are 5-2 for New Jersey. Devils press with 8 minutes left, but both teams are blocking out well. There's not a whole lot right at the net for anybody. Kadri gets shaken up on a high stick, so the Flames go to the power play there. Barry has a slap shot that's held late in it. Power play's killed off. The Devils press to close out the period. It's still 0-0 after 2. Third period, there's an early power play for the Flames. Kadri has a shot that deflects out. That power play's killed off, and then the Devils have a turn. In fact, the Devils could have handed the puck to the Flames and it would have been 4-on-4 briefly, but they ragged the puck a bit, so they just get 2 minutes of power play time. Smart move. There's a shorthanded rush by Backlund. That chance is saved. They end up killing that penalty. Devils had some chances during that. Shots are 3-2 for the Flames at 5 minutes, and both teams trapping. Both teams keeping the other team to the outside. It's not exciting hockey, but it's understandable, and there was a lot of tension in that crowd late. Meyer has a rush chance that deflects out. A lot of one and done. So one and done is, you get the shot on net, goalie makes the save, the other team gets the puck, gets it down the ice, they get their chance, maybe they fire it wide, puck goes back the other way. There was a lot of that going on. Until Coleman deflects one in close to get the goal to make it 1-0. Ball and Backlund with the assists at 14:26. So it took a while, but Calgary breaks the seal. And then at 14:54, because once that seal's broken, via a 2-on-1 rush, a nice give and go, Huberdeau scores from Mantha and Vladar. Got a secondary assist on that one. The goalie pull happens with 4:29 left because you're down by 2, and Coleman hits the empty net at 16:45. Just to add some tension to the end of this game with 2:28 left, the Devils get a power play. Nason's denied on a net drive. The Flames kill that off. They win 3-0, so the Tony the Tiger Magnets on the board. The Flames reverse course. They win a game. They go to 6-4-1. The Devils 7-5-2. And so, yeah, the Devils, 6-0 win over Vancouver. Then they lose against Calgary. You never know what you're getting. Shots on net, 12-5 Calgary in the first, 11-9 Calgary in the second, 9-8 Calgary in the third. Final shots, 32-22 Calgary. Power plays, New Jersey 0 for 3, Calgary 0 for 4. The hits, 30-22 Calgary. Markstrom, 29 saves on 31 shots. Vladar, 22 saves for the shutout. So there you go. Kudos to Vladar and the Flames. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe unless you've already done so. But if you haven't, go for it. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.